So, if you look at the first reflection question, I want to really start thinking about leadership, and I want to kind of maybe start a little bit in the same sort of way I'm going to start with the kids later this morning, and that is to get you to think about your own leadership a little bit, and everyone in this room in various capacities is a leader. I mean, it might be a parent, that's I think a leader. It might be a teacher, I think teachers are leaders. If you're a coach or an advisor, something like that, obviously you're a leader. It might even be a business leader, it might be a manager or something like that. That's where I want to start. Obviously, if you do it, my belief is that whenever you do something, you do it because you get something out of it. If you didn't get something out of it, you probably wouldn't do it. That's one of my strongest beliefs in life. In life, I think that if you don't find pleasure in something, you typically don't do it. So that would be my first question to you. What are the aspects of your role as a leader that you find the most rewarding? So if you could just take like a minute, think about that. Write it down if you need to. And in a minute, I'm just going to ask you to share that with your table. Okay, so if you could now take the next, probably, I want to try to keep it to about 3 minutes. So that means, 20 to 40 seconds a person, something like that. You can just share with the people at your table, what do you find the most rewarding about what you do? Hopefully you'll learn something from your colleagues here.
You'll join us?
Sure.
My name is Tyler. We coach baseball, and me and him play college baseball. But so obviously, as me, I said as a coach, we're high school coaches, so one of my biggest things is seeing you guys move on to other levels, moving up to college, or even just going to college and playing sports. I just like getting you guys ready and prepared for that type of stuff. Create habits, routines, and just pure excellence in terms of classroom work ethic, belief. I like seeing you guys that lead training, leaders to other kids. And then probably my most important one is seeing groups of individuals, teammates. That's probably my favorite when you're coach. So those are the ones that came to me as a leader.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you said a little bit, just seeing the success in people and just all other aspects. You typically only see people on the field. You can see them off the field doing things that that are because of being a part of the team, being a part of the program.
I think for me, it comes down to creation, being able to create a club, a community, a business, create employment opportunities, create opportunities for others. I mean, that's the biggest thing, working with others to create those opportunities. I think is the biggest thing for me that I find most rewarding.
About another minute.
I put down similar to you guys, just watching kids develop over 4 years. Kids scholarships. Watching them change from a freshman and grow from a freshman to a
Do you coach cross country here?
Okay, if I could ask each table to choose one person to kind of summarize what they heard at their table. So in just 30 seconds or less, could you give us some of the highlights of what you heard? So if you could pick one super great communicator at your table. And maybe we'll start. All right, if we could start in the back. So if someone at that table could just give us a rundown.
Building relationships, watching your athletes grow as people, learning and dealing with conflicts. Those are the big points we had back here.
That's exciting to some people. Great.
We had when either our students or our athletes work really well together. We're able to make the most out of what we have and building relationships.
Making the most of what you have is super exciting to me too. It's like, we don't have much, but we're going to do what we can with what we have. That's good. I like that. How about this tip?
We talked about building creation with your athletes and making them believe and being a part of that, and then having a group of individuals become teammates, kind of leading them and being accountable and all that stuff.
Making an athlete believe. That's such a crucial part to success. In fact, that's what the rest of this presentation is generally about.
Of course. For us, we were talking about seeing the success of our players, being a part of building a program where the students have an opportunity to grow, and then that moment when a student comes back to you and says, I really grew a lot, I really learned a lot.
When you coach long enough, that happens often enough, it keeps you going. That's your fuel right there. That is it. You built a system, you built a program. You said, in this system you will grow, and then they come back and say, I did grow. That's super rewarding.
Key term for our group is transformation. That was the program that up, but then pretty much what everyone else said, but then also bringing this transformation into the individuals who grew to a team and seeing that big picture come together.
Coming together as a group. Yeah, that's actually my mission statement for this business that I run, about coming together as a group. I think that's what we try to do. How about back there?
I think that's the main thing, we all sort of were shaking our head at. It's just starting watching kids be successful. And successful is sort of like our normal. It could be at any level. Successful could be that 37th guy you're keeping on your hockey team that took everything that you said and busted his butt and made that JV program. Or it could be a kid that's going to Division I that comes back and gives you a call maybe a couple years later and says, oh, I finally get what you said, about so many different things. But I think also one of the things is when you start hearing your philosophy through your leaders, and it's sort of like seeing yourself all over again.
Yeah, which means they're getting it, right? Because you're obviously if they're imitating the same things you're talking about, saying the same things you're talking about. Obviously they get it, and they've been listening. It doesn't always seem like they're listening, but they are. Obviously they are. Good. Okay, now for the other side of that coin. What would you say are some of the maybe most prominent challenges that you face as a leader in what you do? So as a leader or a coach, what are your greatest challenges? So again, if you can just take about a minute, write down some of your challenges. Does anybody find this question easier than the last question? That's been my experience. And then in the same way, if you could just have that discussion at your table, and we'll go for about 3 minutes. So when you're ready, you can start that discussion.
This is harder. I'll go. I mean, for me personally, I think the biggest challenge for me as a leader is just building relationships. I don't know, for me, that's always been kind of a challenge personally. And it's something that, at least right now, in this part of my life, that I'm really focused on tackling that challenge and becoming better at it.
So I was start the when you do this long, start it starts the program.
Do you ever have like a
Yeah, I always think about it. That's what it is. Or when you were doing
I just said trying to get people to buy in 100%. A lot of times people feel the same thing. There's people that will be like, yeah, I get it, I understand, but just to actually get them to be like 100%.
Hey, maybe about 1 minute.
What you're trying to say, whether it's an athlete or a colleague or an assistant coach or something like that. A lot of times, I see it's difficult to get everybody on one page and everybody on the same page.
Where I see that is where it's, for me personally, it's like allowing the individuals to create that direction through like where they want to take it. Like you set like the kind of the goals, but then they take it on. Yeah, they dictate where it goes. I see that as a challenge. It's like give freedom to everyone.
I'm trying to stay as flexible as possible, but having like these core values that you're trying to keep in mind.
yeah, man. I mean, that's where I did all I wrote was patience. But like, it's like basically what I'm saying. The word patience. Trying to figure out who fits where.
Okay, and if we could do the same thing we just did, we just kind of choose one person, be the same person, somebody else. Just communicate kind of what you heard at your table. Okay, let's go backwards. I'll start.
One of the things that was brought up here was building a team. Getting them all, it seems to be faced more and more selfish motivation, me and I type of things. And I think the biggest challenge is getting them all on the same page, with the same focus, in the same direction.
Why is that so hard? I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be okay, guys. This is what we're doing. This is what you're here for. If you're not, there's the door. Why is it so hard to understand that? But it doesn't work that way.
Not enough eyeballs and thoughts to it.
It's true. That is true.
Well, our table, really on the same wavelength as that, what pulls teams apart with parents, some of the things that we brought up. Mine's a little different because I mostly haven't had to deal with parents. And mine is just the athletes themselves, whether, they're really honest with themselves, what their goals are, what their level of commitment is. And I think we've all experienced that. The teams that do the best are truly committed to being great teams. It's really rare. It's really rare.
And again, I wish I understood why it's so hard to get people to commit to a goal. Like this is what you said you wanted. This is what we talked about at the beginning of the year. So why?
There's not enough pucks and balls to go around.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't get the same rewards, and people have a hard time accepting that.
Yeah. Good. How about you?
I think we all agree, probably in the room, that some of the outside influences that they have, getting kids to drink your Ockuly is very important. But I think for the coaches success in other programs and seeing those coaches on the same wavelength that you're on, which is great that we're doing what we're doing today and the things that we do here, so that helps.
Generating that commitment to, it's tough to generate that commitment to the goal, whatever the goal is. Yeah, good. How about here?
I think our table, at least, you know, we talked a little bit about communication. You know, communication is a challenge for us, and then in allowing the individual team to kind of create their own path and their own way.
And you guys are in a little different situation than a lot of these folks here. You guys, just so you know, Tom and Harvey are actually from kind of a club baseball team, where that's one of the things they do. And so they're bringing people together from different communities. That's a really tough thing to communicate. This is the direction that this group is going. Now, if you want to be a part of this group, let's get on this train and let's move this way. And that can be a tough thing to do.
Well, yeah, and even, I mean, it's then once you bring them all together, it's having